In this video, I'm going to be talking about having a colonoscopy. And from what I've researched, it looks like it's a very similar process whether you be in the USA, Canada, England, Australia, where I am. Maybe the little sachets of the prep that you need to drink is different according to the country you're in. But in general, it looks like the procedure is very much, well, the process is very similar. G'day everybody, welcome to my Aussie gardening kitchen. If it's your first time here, my name's Darren, but please call me Daz, and this is a very different video to my usual cooking and gardening videos, but I think it's an important one, and I think it's going to help a lot of people that are worried about going for colonoscopy, or are just curious about what happens if they have to go for that procedure. Now, just quickly, for anyone in Australia that's watching this and you're looking for information on the PICOPEP, I think that's how you say it, powdered formula that you mix with water and have to take 3 times. I'll put timestamps down below or chapters where you can skip to that section, and I've already done a complete video where I actually show you the mixing of it and drinking it and tips and things like that, my experience, and hopefully that will help you quite a bit. I'm just going to share my own experience and you can take from that what you will, and I advise you to look at other videos and research for yourself and see other people's experiences. Okay, so a colonoscopy. In my case, and the same with a lot of other people, I've gone to a hospital and I've been sedated, and while I'm sedated, in fact asleep and not knowing a thing that's going on, a very trained professional will insert a camera downstairs and they will basically go along my colon and have a look and see what's going on inside, and there's things that they do look for, and if they need to take action at the time they can. And what I mean by that is, for instance, in my case, they found a polyp, and that polyp was actually removed at the time, and then what they do is they'll take that away, and I think it's a biopsy, they say, where they look at it and make sure it's not cancerous and things like that. But essentially, they're going to insert a camera inside you while you're laying on your side, and yeah, they're going to have a good look around and make sure everything's okay. Now, why did I have a colonoscopy? Well, in my case, I had indicators such as blood in my feces, which is not a good sign, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the world, because there's a number of factors that could cause that, and some of them are quite harmless, and in my case, thankfully, it was quite harmless in the end. And also, with my age, I'm 53 years old, and really, males over the age of 50 should be going for a colonoscopy, well, at least doing a screening of their feces when they reach the age of 50, and then that should probably go on to colonoscopy. And then I think the doctors recommend doing that every 3 to 4 years afterwards. What happens is I'll get information in the mail telling me all the things I need to do to prep for this, and also it'll have other things such as just general information on what's going on and why and that sort of thing. It was very helpful. So about a day and a half in my case, I stopped eating solid foods because you want to go clean inside. So in my case, I stopped the solid foods and I went on to clear liquids. So a chicken broth for dinner and lunch, for instance, with no breads or anything like that. And as far as drinking went, it was water or clear juices like apple juice. And they'll give you an indication of what you can and can't have anyway in your literature. So that's what I pretty much did. I went with a beef broth and apple juice for a day and a half, and it wasn't bad, but I tell you what, I was absolutely dying to chew into something after the procedure. So in the information that they send you, they advise to, in my case, go to a chemist or a drugstore, as other people call them overseas, and to get a packet which contains 3 sachets of a powder. And what you do is you mix that into water and you take that at 3 specific times. And what that is going to do is essentially make you go to the toilet and flush you out very well, and it's a very runny situation. This is it. The physician has instructed that I take 3 sachets. They're 20 grams each for people on metric. Because I have an afternoon procedure tomorrow, I'll be taking one of these at 4 p.m. this afternoon, one at 7 p.m. this evening, and one at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Let's crack it open and give it a go, like I have any choice. Okay, let's do this. So I've got a glass and I've got my 250 mils of warm water. Now they do say in the instructions to use warm water. That's going to help it dissolve better. But to make it actually go down a bit better, I'm actually going to chill this. And I have heard people recommend, in fact, I think it might actually say on the packet that you can chill it to make it go down a bit better. I had to cut it beforehand because it's pretty tight, well packaged stuff. Okay, first surprise is that it's actually white. I had that word orange in my head and I was assuming that it was going to be orange, but no, it's white and I think it's got a slight citrus smell. Anyway, let's pour it in the glass. Oh, that looks like a lot. Lucky me. And of course, the warm water. Yeah, it now looks a lot more than I was expecting. I don't know why, because I was trained as a chef many years ago, qualified, got my certificate and papers and everything, and you'd think by now I'd know exactly what 250 mils looks like, and man, it looks a lot more when it's something that you're not sure about, that's for sure. Okay, it's actually fizzing. If I put my microphone, I've probably missed it, but... Okay, so it's actually fizzy. I like it. I like that. Just making sure it's all dissolved. Okay, that does smell like a fizzy, citrusy type of beverage. I said to stir it for about a minute, so I'm just doing that because, I don't know, I don't want to get to the bottom part and have this big white sludgy mess, who knows what it's going to taste like. Okay, it's now about 10 minutes later, and I've actually had this sitting in some ice in an ice drawer just to cool it down a little bit. Now, in a couple of videos that I've looked at from doctors overseas that talk about using their version of this sort of thing, they recommend a chaser with something like an apple juice down the hatch. Okay, for all you Aussies out there that will more than likely have this one, it's not that bad. I would say it's a slightly sour, fizzy, citrusy drink. No real need for the chaser of the apple juice. Oh, and it's important to say too that it's not a race, so you don't feel like you have to rush this if you're actually going to be doing this. Just get it in there and drink it in your own good time. Don't take too long, and if you are struggling, the chaser, for instance, is going to help. But yeah, I might just try and give it a go by itself for now. It dissolved well. There's no residue and no powder. Okay, well, I'm very pleasantly surprised. It was not that bad at all. Now, of course, every person is different when it comes to taste and how things taste to them. So it's going to be very much an individual thing, but I wouldn't say that it's unpleasant at all. I feel like I need to burp. I guess that's the fizzy side of it. Excuse me. But yeah, there you go. I'm going to have a bit of a chaser of apple juice since I've already got it. But yeah, I honestly don't think I need it. It's a shame they could make it taste like that. Well, now it's just a matter of waiting for the effects to kick in, and literature tells me that it could take possibly an hour. I'm going to position myself closer to the bathroom. Thankfully, I have an ensuite with my main bedroom, so I can sit on bed and yeah, it's not very far for me to go at all when I need to go, and hopefully this will do its thing. So on the day of the procedure, I woke up in the morning like any other morning, had some apple juice and took my third dose of the Picoprep, and that was fine. I think I was pretty much done with being cleaned out because I didn't have any dramas at all about going to the toilet after my third drink. Now, of the Picoprep. I was terrified of a 2-hour drive in the car and, yeah, something really rushing and going to happen, but there was none of that. So my procedure was after lunch, and I didn't have to go and sit down on the toilet again after the morning. I was done, which I was quite relieved about. In my case, I went to a large regional hospital here in Victoria, Bendigo for anyone that is familiar with my state and my country, and they were fantastic. I was treated so well from when I walked in the door until I fell asleep on the table. I think I was asked who I was and what procedure I was having, my date of birth, you name it, probably half a dozen times by half a dozen different people. They really made sure that I was going in for the right thing. They were on point with checking who I was and why I was there. They were incredibly comforting to me. That was great. They explained to me the procedures as it went along. But essentially, I go in, do a lot of paperwork. I have to get dressed into a gown, and it's a gown with a split in the back. I think you know why there's a split in the back. But privacy is there, and no one sees my butt. I was in bed the whole time once I got changed, and I eventually get wheeled into a pre-room where I guess I get prepped for the operating for the procedure. And at that point, again, it's a check of who I am and everything. And I think that's the point where they stick I can't think what it is. They stick the little tube into your hand so they can inject you with the sleeping solution or whatever it is. And then I get wheeled into this room. All I remember was there was people in there. There was a great big TV for them to look inside my butt on, a big screen. And they were all quite welcoming, and it all happened very quickly. I was asked to lay on my side and bring my knees up towards my belly. So it was really the person doing the procedure that could really see my behind. So that was comforting that I wasn't on show to half the hospital. But it was very quick. As I was saying, I was asked to bring my knees up to my belly after rolling onto my side. And then honestly, I went from that to complete darkness and a lady saying, Darren, can you please wake up for me? It was incredible. I had gone from being on this table and nervous about having something inserted into me to waking up to this pleasant voice asking me to wake up. And sure enough, I opened my eyes and I'm in a recovery room. And the lady's saying, well done, everything went well, we'll discuss it once you've woken up and get changed. And it was done. I couldn't believe it. It was as if I fell asleep and woke up straight away. There's nothing, I have no memories of anything being done at all. And as I said earlier, no memories, no after effects, no feeling, sensation, nothing. It was incredible. And then the lady essentially said to me, if you wouldn't mind, get changed into your clothes again, which I did. And she said, you're okay to walk, which I was. And she took me over to this lovely little area with great big windows with a view outside. And there was sandwiches and biscuits, or cookies as they say overseas, on a couple of plates. And there was a hot drink and a cold drink. And I got to sit and relax and chew on something. Half an hour after resting and being checked and make sure I was okay, my wife was able to pick me up and took me home. Now, it's very important that you have someone that can assist with driving, because you've been sedated and you can't be driving a car, operating machinery, and all these things they'll tell you about. But that's essentially it. The experience was fine, and yeah, there was no memories of anything happening, like I said. And I have to thank the staff for making me feel comfortable, and obviously the medication, whatever it was that knocked me out, it worked, because, man, it's so good not to remember anything, and all the fears that I had leading up to it was just not necessary, because everyone's a professional and this procedure gets done so much by so many people. It was a breeze, it really was. I have to go back in another 3 years, and now after this experience, I'm a lot more comfortable with going back again, because of having experienced it myself and it being quite an okay experience. I hope this video helps you in some way with learning about this procedure and it puts you at ease, because all the worry that I had was not necessary. It really was fine, and I'm quite happy to now go and do it again in the recommended 3 years' time. If you wouldn't mind, I'd love for you to check this video out on the screen right now, and you can see some of my normal content, my usual content, where as an ex-qualified chef I do cooking videos and I do gardening videos and I do a lot of garden to table type gardening. I'd love for you to check out my other content and join me here on my channel in the future. Thank you so much. I wish you all the best, and if you are having the procedure, you'll be fine. Good luck with your results, and hopefully I'll see you next time.